is a quick video kind of overviewing what we have done as far as rainwater collection here. Several reasons to do rainwater collection, mostly for the simple part, if power goes out for any reason and you don't have a hand pump, you're not going to be getting any water. If you live in the city, that's not a problem, but I don't and I won't, so that's that. And basically what we're going to do is just a quick overview. We've put our tanks inside of a room, insulated and soon to be heated and cooled by the neighboring office building here next to it, inside of a 48 by 63 pole barn. And we'll stop rotating the video and making you dizzy. So anyway, let's go outside and we will take a look at the capture system. There's remnants of a first catch or first flush system, and you'll see ours shortly. Now, there's our trusty setup. We are capturing off of one side of the barn, so we have approximately 60 feet of gutter line to catch off of, going into a bucket which is piped inside, and as soon as the inside first flush and all of the fill systems fill up, then it dumps over out that little dump right there into the gutter system, and away she goes. So now we'll take you inside. Get some lights on in here. Unlock our second door. Okay, and as the lights warm up here, we have compact fluorescence. Eventually this entire assembly will be run off of solar. We have 4 275-gallon tote tanks, and they're all plumbed together. The water comes in from the outside right there, and comes in. And computing our roof size and doing all of the calculations, we needed to capture at least 17 gallons of water to first flush the gutter and the roof. We built ours a little bit bigger, so it will hold 20 gallons. And basically this is 5 sections of 4-inch PVC, all teed and elbowed together, equating about 20.5 gallons, all said and done. And there's our drain valve dumping into our drain that leads outside the building, so that we can leave it on a soft trickle so that eventually it will empty back out again. Again, our water comes in. We've got 2 flex joints there. We quickly realized after putting a solid piece of PVC in there that tote tanks were never designed to fill to capacity. So if you use them, expect the top bars to bow like you see here. They have bowed up, and this piping assembly has gone up as high as 2 inches from its current position as the tanks bulge. But no big deal, it's done it several times and we're pretty happy with what we've got here. All 4 tanks are plumbed together at the bottom, so they will equally distribute water. The fill line goes across the top of all 4 tanks. And then at the end of the fill line, it goes up and out the top, and there's a vent that goes almost all the way up to the roof. It does not go outside. I'll show you that later. Obviously the room is insulated, and eventually through that wall will be ports to allow heating and cooling to come through. There's our pump system. One thing very important to realize when you're working with these systems, if you want to do any maintenance to them, you have to have a shut-off valve. So we have a valve there. The other thing is if you need to service the pump, quick disconnects on each side of the pump. Water inlet, water outlet. so that we can undo those and pull the tank out if we need to. Another very important thing, if you're using this type of Harbor Freight pump or anything of the such, is a back pressure valve or a check valve. Basically so that the when the pump pulls water up through the system and pressurizes the system, if you do not have this little guy in place, water will flow back down into the tube and back into the tank, and your pump will never shut off. So, very important, check valve. Right now, we just have one line coming over here and going outside to a siphoning hose bib. Eventually, we have a T back there. I don't know how well you can see it. That's capped off. Eventually, that's going to go inside the office building and is going to run a sink, a shower, and a toilet. But what you're looking at here is 1,100 gallons of water. We had one good rain and was able to fill the entire tank up off of that single event. Now, if all of the system fills up, obviously it just overflows outside. But this is how we implemented water flow out here in the barn. Currently we're sitting at about 30 psi. This tank has been, or this pump has been unplugged. You can see the black wire there. Been unplugged for about 7 hours. And no water leakage. The valve is doing its job very nicely. If I plug it back in, we can go outside. And we can move our mess of bladders here, so we can get to our hose. And here we have our hose, siphoning hose bib and our hose. So we're going to stretch a little bit of this out. And hopefully not knock any ladders over. And we're going to put this out here in the grass. And we're going to turn our water on. And we have water. Good pressure. And our pump just kicked on. Very cheap pump. I think I paid 80 bucks for it at Harbor Freight, with also got a 3-year extended warranty. So cheap, easy. If it goes out again, cheap to replace. Come out here, shut our water off, and our pump will eventually repressurize and shut off as it did. Nice easy setup. There's probably, with all of the tanks and PVC that we've got, I'm going to go over all the PVC at the bottom. Basically there's just 2-inch rubber couplers that are hose clamped onto the tank flanges, and 2 little stubs of PVC coming out of each T. It runs around the bottom of the tank, goes up to our check valve, to our disconnect, into our input, and into the pump. And again, we have vent line connected to our fill line, up and out. Now, one thing to make sure of is to make sure that your vent is very much above your fill. I don't know if you can see it or not back there, but damn near touching the roof is our vent. Basically it has 180 degree on it, with a piece of screen clamped over the top to keep all the bugs and stuff out, and there is a bucket up there, just in case there is a little overflow. During a super fast rain, the rain event that we had, we did have a little bit of water come out of that. So you definitely want it higher than your fill line, and you definitely want a good vent. All in all on this thing, like I said, we've got about $800 in this building, gravel, tanks. We picked up our tanks from a gentleman who was selling them for about 40 bucks a piece. So that's it in a nutshell. Pretty simple, pretty easy, and you should be able to duplicate this anywhere. If you don't have to worry about freezing temperatures like several of our rainwater collection friends in Texas, then you can put your tanks outside. Definitely most important to blacken them, because regardless of whether they're inside or outside, if they see any light, you will be growing algae. So we went ahead and took the tanks out of the pallets and cages and wrapped them in black plastic and then put them back in. The lids are siliconed on, and the 2-inch couplers here actually thread right into the lid. So no special parts, you can get them all. We did this whole project basically at Home Depot. And that's about it. Thanks for watching.